Hello. All right. We are live. We are live. Okay. So, you guys, I have some great information here. Yes, I write my notes on a piece of paper. I have some great information here about how to navigate failure. And as an entrepreneur, I know that you are in a constant pivot, and the constant pivot is every time that you go to do something, of course, there is this unexpected delay on success. Am I right or am I right? Put yes or no in the chat. There's like this unexpected delay with success. And so if you're brand new to me, and you've never seen any of our lives or very few of them, say hello in the comment section. I want to say hi. Put the word new, so I know that you're new in the chat. That's always nice to know, and it gives me a good understanding about who's watching. We have thousands of people who watch our lives online every single day, and I get these amazing, beautiful messages of not only businesses that are transforming, but also relationships. One of the things that we are super bullish on, and I'm actually designing a couple trainings for this right now for the end of the month, is how do you take your drive and grow this incredible business without dropping your personal life, right? Without dropping your fitness, without dropping your family. And if you have children, there is nothing worse than regretting your drive, but then there's a part of you that just you can't turn off the drive, and if you do, it's almost like a part of you dies, right? And so we are putting some trainings together for the end of the month around this topic. And so if that's important to you, can you comment in the chat? Drive, the word drive, DRIVE, if you want more education around this conversation around how do you balance your drive in a way that has you produce incredible results in your business, but also doesn't drop your family, your friends, or if you have children. Okay, so comment the word drive if that's something that's important to you, so that I know. If it's not important to you, then I'm obviously not gonna create the trainings around it. Okay, so all of that to be said, today's training is around how to navigate failure. And I'm inspired. I think it's important to understand why I'm inspired to talk about this. So, because I have a lot of customers and clients, I often get messages on my Instagram. I get messages in our Heartcore Business Facebook page for our year-long program, and I get these messages where I see people succeeding. Like, I was posting for our Heartcore Business team in our Slack. I was posting how one of our clients just said yesterday that she had her most successful month ever. And here's and you can steal this if you want in a loving way, borrow it. Every month for my entrepreneurs and for myself, I have a monthly target. And write this down. There's a target, which is a goal, but then there's a character goal, because your character has to change to go to the next target, right? Your character has to change to go to the next target. So, whatever amount of money you make right now, whatever your life looks like right now, it's connected to your level of urgency. It's connected to your ability to make decisions. Do you overthink things? Who are my overthinkers? Put overthinking, or just put the word thinking. Who are my overthinking thinkers? Put the word thinking in the chat, right? And so depending on if you overthink things, which would cause you to be frustrated or overwhelmed, and just your speed of making decisions really, really impacts where you are today. And so it's logical to realize that if we set bigger goals, right? So who's got a big goal right now? I just love big goals. They fire me up, right? So who's got a big goal? Do you know it's a contribution to have a big goal? Like, it's a contribution to the people in your life that are watching you. It doesn't have to be a detriment. It's a detriment if you are a bully, or you're mean, or you destroy the people in your life when pressure hits. That is why some people in your life don't want you to dream bigger. But if you are kind, so this is where the character comes in. If you are, so I said to my son, like when we were driving him to kid camp this morning, I said, so what's your daily target for the day? What's your target? What are you working on? And he goes, Mom, I'm working on fun. I was like, that's so awesome. Of course, he's 8, right? I was like, that's so awesome. So I said, so how are you going to contribute? How are you going to give fun to the other kids in the kid camp? And what's going to have to shift in your character to amplify fun? Because most kids are fun. right? It's probably some of the things that we get frustrated at for them is that they're always trying to have fun when you just need them to like sit sometimes. I know that's a horrible thing, but it's true. And so I feel like kids are good at fun, but his next level would be, how do you actually create that in other people if they're having a hard day, other kids if they're having a hard day? Something needs to shift in your character. And my son said that he has to be more loving. So that's a character. So I wanted to start with that because if we're going to navigate failure, I have 3 things for you. But the 3 things don't work if you don't identify what has to shift in your character to be able to go the next level. So number 1, I want you to ask yourself, what is your goal for July? Right? Currently we're doing this live in July. Somebody might watch this in December, but if you do, then look for what is your goal in December? What is your goal in March? What is your goal in January? What is your goal for the month of January? What is your goal? Go in the chat and just put your goal for the month of January. Don't be passive and don't worry about what anybody thinks about your goal. It's a great exercise in unleashing from what other people think about you. Okay, so just run your race. You know where you are. You know if you're fighting cancer or you've got new kids or like brand new kids and just gave birth, or you're empty nesting and it's emotional, or you might be going through a divorce or a custody battle, or you might be getting married, right? Or you might have a big bill, a big tax bill that just came due, right? And so you have a different emotion right now and everybody's walking a different walk. So never have shame about your goals, but you got to have them. Right? So what is the goal for July? Go in the chat and let me know. I don't see anybody doing it at this point. So go in the chat and let me know. Okay, so now I'm starting to see some July goals, right? So look at your July goals and then ask yourself what has to change in your character, because what you're actually afraid of, the only thing that we are afraid of, I want to like get up and run around. The only thing that we are afraid of is actually our character not following through and creating the results. So if our target for July, our goal for July is a cash injection, well, how much? How much is the cash injection? We can't measure it if we don't know how much it is. How much is the cash injection? If it's to, build an email or text message list, how many is the target, right? So if you're going to navigate failure, there's 3 things that you need to do. Number 1, write this down. You must have a value for speed. You must have a value for speed. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, I know so many people financially stressed, they don't set daily goals. They don't know what the one thing is for the day. And so they go through the day doing some lives, maybe writing some emails, maybe looking at what's in the fridge to consume. Maybe you're going to go do a load of laundry. Maybe it's time like the floor is a little dirty, so you're going to clean it. Maybe your car needs oil change, right? And what happens is you become a product of unpredictable, like weed burning, like you're in the weeds, right? And so the only way to avoid overwhelm, frustration at a high level, is to know what really is, like if I end it today, when I put my head down on a pillow, what would be the thing? What would be the thing? I want you to think about this right now. Like, what would be the thing when you put your head down on a pillow at night that you would just feel like, you know what, no matter what happened today, that made everything really come together for me. That made the day worth it, right? And so I'm going to ask you to redeclare, what is your goals for January? What's the big main goal for January, right? So for me, I don't have it in front of me. So for me, I think I have 216 diamond tickets left at the Zone event. Those are like in the front of the room, they're close to me. They have their own tables. Everybody else at the Zone event does not have their own tables in general admission, but we have diamond tickets and we're almost sold out of the diamond tickets. And so for me, I always look at whatever I'm marketing, what moves me? Well, I think everybody should try. I think everybody should be a Zone event, but I think everybody should try to get to the front of the room, right? And go get a diamond ticket. So I share this with you because I'm clear on what really lights me up. Having an incredibly sold out room at Zone event, which we've always sold out. Even year 1, we went over what we thought we would do. We've always sold out. This event has been pent up for 3 years since pre-COVID. What's it for you? right? What is the end of the year, or the end of the month, not year, end of the month look like that you would feel like, oh, I can handle more? Do you know when you can handle more? You can handle more when you're winning. It's very hard to handle more when you're not winning, right? Super hard to handle more when you're not winning. So I see some people on Facebook doing $10,000 of soulmate clients. Awesome. You know how you get soulmate clients? Be bold, right? So like, I'll use Zone Event again as an example. So we have messaging going out, and the messaging for Zone Event is, it is, and I'm like, no hands bar, like there's nothing in me that doesn't know this. It is the number one event for business people, entrepreneurs, who, the number one event in the world. There's nobody else pushing on this topic on how do you become a millionaire, right? How do you create millions? How do you create, like, there's nothing worse than not having enough money. Like, I have a friend who literally was in a situation, her daughter was in the hospital this past weekend. And, you know, to not have enough money to take care of the medical bill or to get specialized help is a real problem. And nobody ever expects to get in that spot, but a rainy day is coming. Am I right or am I right? Put yes in the comment section, right? Put yes if you get that. But what are you doing to be responsible? See, I hate it when people say to me, Shanda, it's not all about money. I'm like, you are being so self-centered, because nobody said it was about money. It is about the fact that there's a rainy day, maybe for your child or your parents or your best friend. And when there is a way to create financial freedom, there is a completely tangible way to run your marketing, to make money reliable. 100%, right? 100%. And when you know it, if you don't do it, then you got a leadership problem. And so we're building Zone Event with this whole mentality of saying, it's not okay anymore to drop your kids, your dating life. If I hear one more woman say that she's not going to go date until she figures out her business, I'm going to throw up. Like you don't have to fix yourself to meet your husband or your wife. In fact, you need to pick somebody with value systems that will grow through the seasons with you. That's what's important. Like, we're running such broken strategies and we're missing our life. And so we've got the number one event in the world. What's your number one, right? What are you standing on? We absolutely have the number one Zone Event, the number one business building event that doesn't allow people to settle for smallness, doesn't allow people to settle for this mentality of, you know, this mentality of it's not all about money, because somebody's going to need your help if you don't need it, right? There's going to be a rainy season, and you want to have the pantry stocked so that you can get through that rainy season. There's nothing worse than listening to people go, you know what, Shanda, I just didn't navigate failure very well. But that's not normally what they say. They blame their bosses, they blame their spouses, they blame the economy. So I'm going to give you 3 things to navigate failure. But you need to know, what are you working on in July? I'm working on selling out my diamond tickets by either I would say this week, definitely next week, selling out the diamond tickets, right? So if you go to thezoneevent.com, you can get a diamond ticket. I think there's 216 left if some haven't moved from this morning, right? We're averaging a good ticket flow every single day. And I'm going to recommend that you go there if you care about your family, you care about not regretting your life, but you also care about the fact that you don't want to give up your drive for your personal life, but you don't want to give up your personal life for your drive. There is a way to have tangible marketing that creates a legacy for you. Because when you die, unfortunately, nobody remembers grandma, grandpa, mom, dad. I hate to say it that way. The next generation. Like, my son is not talking about my grandparents. He's not talking about them. Do you know what I mean? And so one of the things that I'm now sharing with him is the legacy that my grandmother left, which is showing women. My grandmother was a self-made millionaire, and she did it by selling encyclopedia books. She went door to door selling encyclopedia books. She was the best that she could be at that, But those skills transferred to when she had the courage to buy a formula, a skincare formula. And she never would have known that. That's why how you're showing up today, your character, it's not about, like, everybody thinks it's about this future thing. You're going to show up and be great. No, you be great today, right? You go get your zone ticket today. You go choose a diamond ticket today, right? Like, or whatever that is for you, right? You go after it today, because the decisions you make today and how you put your head down on your pillow today, like whatever gives you relief, right? Whatever is the success, you're responsible for driving that today. And so I'm going to encourage you, because my grandmother, I watched her, right? I watched her be the best at selling encyclopedias door to door. And then that woman had the courage. She had the courage. I still haven't gotten to my 3 points. She has the courage, right, to be able to buy a skincare formula that she took network marketing. And she had never run a network marketing company. She never had another business. And her name is Maisel Sumter. And she has a legacy in my heart and in my son's heart, because she's the fire that brought the entrepreneur spirit into our life, and she set us up financially for success. So I'm going to give you my 3 points right now, and I want you to write this down. But none of these work if you don't have a target for this month, a goal that is very, very measurable and specific. And then today you need to work on that goal. Not tomorrow, not the end of the week. Today you need to work on that goal. And if you're someone who cares about creating tangible marketing, and you care about not dropping your personal life, and you want to create a legacy, then I really recommend you go grab one of those diamond tickets today at thezoneevent.com. I really recommend that, because you know that I am going to sell it out, right? You know it. We have 216 left. Write this down. Speed, decision on a path, and track daily. Let me explain this to you. Now, I've asked you to get a goal for this month. You need to have speed, but you'll have no speed if you have no decision on a plan. So whatever your goal was for this month, I want you to ask yourself, what is the decision you need to make today to move that forward? So you don't put your head down at the end of the day and you go to bed and you're like, nothing really happened. I mean, I kind of worked on it along with checking the fridge, right? Like, but I never really had, like, I burnt through the day, but I never really had the result. So what is the decision that you need to make? Because there's a decision you're struggling with right now. Everybody is, unless you're playing no big game. If you're playing I'm going to sit on a couch and let my life be passive, which I absolutely don't believe anybody would be watching Shanda on Demand if that was the case. So look at, what is the decision you're struggling with today? If you could solve that decision or make a decision, then you'll get the first one, which is speed. Until you can make that decision, you will not have the speed you want. If you don't have the speed you want, then you're burning through your days, guarantee it. So I want you to ask yourself, what is the decision? If you want to be bold or brave, go in the chat and let me know, what is the decision that you need to make today? What is the decision that you need to make today? Maybe it's a decision if I'm coming to Zone Event or not. Maybe it's a decision if you're going to get married. Maybe it's a decision about a price point that you're going to sell at. Maybe it's a decision, maybe things are not working the way they're working right now and you have to make a decision on selling out a retreat. I don't know. What is the decision you need to make so that you can have the first step, which is speed? You got no speed, I'm telling you, you got no success. Success is directly connected with somebody's speed and urgency. I wrote down the word lack of urgency. People are saying, I'm moving today, so I can't work on my business. I'm tired. I've got, I don't have everything I need to be able to make that decision. That's a problem. Because you need to make a decision and get courageous enough to say that I'm going to bank that decision. So I'm going to bank. So I have a challenge right now with our clients. We have a program called Mentor Me Live. And we actually closed down the doors to it right now. And we have the only people who can get in that we're already talking to a strategist that they're debating if they want in or want out, but we're about to shut the door on that too. So we're locking that program down. You might ask why, because I'm focusing on elevating their income in a big way. And I want everybody to be on the same page. And so I'm actually slowing down my income to focus on my mastermind. You go find me a group that will do that. We have the highest success rates in the industry. I know that. And people can criticize me. My peers can criticize me and watch this video, but we do. And you know why I know that? Because I track every single client. In my leadership program, I have 99% of my clients have hit the results in the last 3 years, 2.5 years. 99%. Okay. In my business program, we vacillate between 72, 74, 78% per quarter, because we have our entrepreneurs pick quarters, 72, 74, and 78% per quarter under the leadership that has run that coaching department. Sorry, my dogs are walking around now. Under the leadership that has run my coaching department. And so that's incredible results, right? I haven't seen it in the industry anywhere else. Hey, sorry, guys. No. My little bugaboos, my Labradoodle, Bernese Doodle wanting to play. And so I focused on that target. Like, I wanted to be the best in the industry at results. Does that create more sales for me on the front end? I don't know. But it makes me sleep better. And so one of the challenges I have with our clients right now in our Mentor Me Live program is I'm having them, whether they started their business today or in the last week or 2 weeks, or whether they've been in business for a while, for everybody to go after $100,000 a month, right? Which, if you could do that once, it means you can create $1 million business, and you can. And so we had to use this navigate failure, because if you just say it doesn't mean you're going to hit it. So it's like we had to make a decision on the path. Are we going to sell $25,000 products, or are we going to sell 10 $1,000, a month? What are we going to sell? Like, what are we going to sell? Like, what price point? And that's a decision everybody had to make. And then speed comes, because now you lock onto one thing. Now, I will tell you, the people who lock onto multiple things won't make the $100,000 a month. You know why? Because they bought into this idea of multiple streams of income. And multiple streams of income comes when you have such an overflow in one stream of income that you take some of that money and you invest it into multiple streams of income. Imagine this. Imagine if I gave you 3 full-time jobs. Do you logically think you could do 3 full-time jobs? No. I mean, like, if you had 3, you have a job at Walmart, you have a job at, Zappos, and you have a job at, Forever 21. I'm just making this up. Can you physically be full-time in all those places every day? No. Well, then why do entrepreneurs feel like they could get 3 products up at the same time? Because it's a full-time job, and it is not taught. And everybody's putting the cart before the horse, in my opinion, and they're trying to get multiple streams of income. I'm like, get so much income in one stream, go all in, all eggs in one basket. And as you start getting income, pull some off the top. And as you pull some off the top, you start to see that accumulates, and then you deploy that into multiple streams of income, or you deploy that into employees that have better skills than you do in certain areas, so that you can actually grow multiple streams of income in your business. But trying to do multiple streams of income in your business when you're the salesperson, when you're the producer, when you're the marketing department, you're the funding department, you're the CEO, you're the COO, it's just a bad strategy, but it's not intuitive. What's intuitive is for you to be rich. That's what's intuitive. Like, as an entrepreneur, if you have a desire to grow a business, it's actually intuitive for you to be rich. The problem is the plan isn't lining up for some of you. And so I'm telling you, this is why I'm telling you, everybody, number one most important event this year. If you don't want to drop your personal life, you want to balance out your drive. And this doesn't mean balance in the traditional sense, but you want to make the right decisions and prioritizations so that you can rely on income and you can have a great life in the process. That's what I'm teaching at the Zone event. Rita, you're right. TheZoneEvent.com, right? I got 216 tickets left in the diamond seating area. Go get the best seats in the house because you were on this live, right? Be smart. Go after it. So set your goal for July. Ask yourself, what do you have to sell? Because we're talking about entrepreneurship. What do you have to sell and how many? What do you have to sell at what price and how many? Write this down. What do you have to sell at what price and how many? Don't let your fear get in the way yet. Okay. Like, you don't even have to do this plan yet. Like, it's like me moving to Puerto Rico. Like, there was nothing in my body that wanted to move to Puerto Rico other than it was a smart legacy creator mentality, which is legacy creators they have hard conversations with themselves and they make decisions fast. and then they make the decision right. So they literally say, I'm just going to have courage on that decision, and I'm going to go all in. I'm not going to multiple stream income it. I'm going to actually put all my eggs in that basket. I'm going to go all in, and it's going to work, right? It's going to work because my day is consumed with it. Write down the word obsession. You need to get obsessed. You need to get obsessed with your monthly goal. So what is the monthly goal? At what price point and how many do you have to sell? All right. Thank you, Tanya, for sharing this on Facebook, by the way. At what price point and how many do you have to sell? If you guys find this valuable, tag somebody. You know what I mean? Tag somebody you know, share these lives with people. Like, let's get the word out. Could you imagine if more entrepreneurs were financially successful? Yeah, you'd have more joint venture partners, right? You'd have more, people wouldn't be as afraid to stop promoting their own stuff and promote you, to put each other on each other's shoulders and raise a world that we actually like to talk about, but in our actions don't necessarily always lead, which is the make a difference life, right? I share this with you because the more successful people are in your industry, the more people you have to help reach more people, right? So how many do you have to sell and how many? And this is important, where do you find your buyers? Where do you find your buyers? I'm going to give you a couple. Obviously, we specialize in that. Again, we'll teach that at the Zone event as well. Even for our clients that are coming to Zone event, there's always new customer acquisition things that we're doing on a regular basis to be able to bring in more customers and clients, right? And so where do you find the clients? So I'm going to give you some ideas. You could find the clients on meetup groups. You could start a meetup group in your area and do your first live event, which might be scary, right? You could just pay for a room rental in a hotel, right? And you could do a meetup group, and the meetup.com is going to actually source people in your area for you, right? So there's that strategy. There's speaking on people's Facebook groups. Well, I don't know anybody. Well, are you prospecting today? Is your calendar reaching out to them? Because whoever has your customer or client, you need to get on their virtual or live stage. In my opinion, I like to show our entrepreneurs how to build their own stages, right? So that you don't have to spend your days consumed with getting on a stage. That could be a Facebook group. You can create a meetup.com group. You can look for associations that you can go contribute to, right? There's if you're in masterminds, you can see instead of being self-centered about, yes, you need to get on their stages, make your approach be like, find out everything with the people in your masterminds. Look for the successful people. I call them torchbearers. You look for the torchbearers, the successful people, and find out what's important to them. I always find out what like when I'm sitting with somebody successful, I always want to know what's most important to you in your life. Sat at a coffee shop the other day with a gentleman. I said, what's the most important thing in your life? He said, to close this loan on a deal I'm doing so that I can have peace of mind and be able to reallocate my time to my family. Do you see what I'm saying? This is somebody working on, I mean, we're talking so much in the hundreds of millions of dollars. But back to the priority of, I want to reprioritize my family. See, some of you guys can't not prioritize your family for a month because your family's in deficit and you could end up in a divorce. That's a problem, right? You can't have things in deficit. So can I get a vote, like an oath right now? No more deficit. Like, we're not going to live our life in a deficit. You might be pulling out of a deficit right now. That's okay. Make a decision that there's never going to be a deficit again, right? There's nothing like a deficit in your life, a hard moment in your life that literally says to yourself, I'm never going to be here again. Is anybody in that moment, or you've been in that moment before, that so broke it hurts moment, right? Put yes, so broke it hurts moment, put yes. If you've ever been in that moment, you're really clear you don't want to go back there. And maybe you're in that moment right now and you're coming out. But I'm always asking, what's the most important thing? And you know what I see with quality people, in my opinion, what I consider, I'm going to put a disclosure on this, what I consider a quality human being is someone who doesn't ignore the things that matter most in life to grow a business, but also doesn't use the most important people in their life as an excuse not to build a business. Because the most successful people have the biggest contribution hearts I've ever seen. And it's kind of like having a baby. If anybody have a baby, put baby in the chat. Any of you guys had a baby before? If you've had a baby, you know what I'm talking about. There's something that unlocks in your heart a level of love that you did not even know is possible. If you have a child, there is something that opens in your heart that you did not know was a part of you. It's like getting access to a deeper part of you. That is such a blessing to get access to. Making millions works in the same way. Making millions, I don't even suggest you just make $1 million a year. Let me show you how to have $1 million weekend. Let me show you how to have $1 million month. But first, let's start with $1 million year. Let's start with $100,000 month. So you got to be around people that you're doing life with that think like this, because I'm going to tell you what most people in my industry do. And I mean this with absolute respect, but I am calling out the people in my industry. Stop meeting your students at where they're at. I totally disagree. I bought into that for so long. You know what? My clients grew slow. Stop meeting your clients at where you're at. All my people out there that teach business or any sort of money manifestation, for gosh sakes, like, we don't want to be met where we're at. We want to be stretched to where we want to go. And you guys, success needs speed. You know why some of you guys give up on your goals? Or you give up on the fact that the rug got pulled out from underneath you? It didn't get pulled out from underneath you. You let it go. Ouch. But there's also positive in that. You let it go. You let it go because it wasn't coming together fast enough. Because as a business owner, you need speed. It's part of your DNA, even if you're an analyzer. You need speed to come together. That's what fires you up, which means that you need to be working things that actually, when they come together, like in a weekly basis and a daily basis, you feel the progress. If you feel the progress as an entrepreneur, you will succeed. So the last thing I'm going to ask you is, what are you working on today? You might need to go back and re-listen to this live. I'm going to summarize it in a second. But what are you working on today? And based on what we just talked about now, right? Are you working on July's goal? Are you working on this month's goal? If you watch this in March or December or November, are you working on the month goal, right? Are you working on the goal this month? And does your day represent that? Does your day represent obsession on that goal? Or is your day showing a character that needs to be shifted? Laziness, distracted, overwhelmed, busy, unorganized. What needs to shift? And I guarantee you, you can go onto your calendar and you could start renegotiating the things on your calendar, clear the rest of the day, and at least get 2 hours in where you're obsessed about your this month's goal, and make sure this day represents that obsession. All right, my friends, that's it for Shanda On Demand. I'm going to work on productivity this week on Shanda On Demand. I'm going to go live at 12 noon. We're going to open something up hopefully tomorrow that I will run with some of you guys in a VIP room. We're going to charge $30 for it, just FYI. And after Shanda On Demand, I don't have a link for this right now. I'm hoping to have it tomorrow. So if you're on the Shanda On Demand tomorrow, I'm hoping to have a link that if you want to join me on a private Zoom room after the Shanda On Demand to work on your specific business, because you're like, I want to have drive, but I also want to have massive success and not drop my personal life. Maybe who are my people that are single, that it's time for you to meet your forever? Who am I single? Put single in the chat. It's time for you to meet your forever, right? So let's close the gap to that. No more someday. Who are my people that it's like you maybe are in a relationship already and you're good to go on that. And you're like, listen, it's time for me to become a millionaire. Put the word millionaire in the chat right now. Put the word millionaire. Who are my people that don't follow through? You don't follow through, right? You need leadership. You know you need leadership. Put the word leaders in the chat. Put the word leaders in the chat. Let me tell you something. If you need leadership, we need to talk. I'm going to send you a message. Put the word leaders in the chat. Instagram, unfortunately, you'll have to send me a DM with the word leaders. If you need leadership, DM me the word leaders. And the reason why this is important is because all of what I taught you today, everything will fall apart if we don't get that part tightened up. You need to be able to follow through. Okay, so every great strategy that we know tangibly will end up in a result, if you can't lead yourself because of either your emotional triggers or the fact that you get distracted or the fact that other people, you don't know how to get out from the weeds, that's leadership. And if you need leadership, put the word leaders in the chat. I'm going to message you, or Instagram, send me a direct inbox message because I won't be able to see your chats afterwards. So I share this with you and I end this live to say, tomorrow I'm going to drop a link for anybody who wants to be in a VIP room with me, and I'm going to pocket coach you all month, which means I'm going to send you coaching every single week in your text message starting tomorrow. For anybody who jumps up to VIP tomorrow, just FYI, I did this a couple months ago. It was hugely successful. People loved it. It's $30 for the month or $30 for the week or $30 for the day. I don't know when somebody will jump into it, but tomorrow I'm going to drop a link for that. And I've dedicated After Shanda On Demand to work with a VIP group who in a Zoom room who really want to go deep and close the gaps on this. Guys, we're halfway through this year at this point when I'm doing this live. We're halfway through this year. Right? I just said to my team, we have a leadership training going in July 11th. And I said, it's a 4-month program. And I said to my team, I said, if you're talking to people, you need to have urgency, speed. And I said, and here's why, because after that 4-month program, it's the only program I have that it becomes your accountability factor, right? We unleash you for a month of all your triggers, and then we set your target for a goal, and we coach you for 3 months on it. I'm sharing this with you because I think for some of you guys, you need this. And I said, after they're done that 4-month program, there's like a month and a half to 2 months left of the year. We're done, 2023. The legacy of this year has been set. We wrote the chapter in our life. And I don't know about you, but I am not settling for being in a body that I don't love. I'm not settling for a bank account that I'm not proud of, or that I can't contribute to somebody else's life and take care of my family. I am not settling for friends that take and are average in their results. I want friends that contribute to my life. I contribute to their life, that inspire me to play a big game. I want a family. I want a relationship with my family. That is extraordinary. That is all leadership. And I want that this year. When I made that decision in my life, I took a leadership program that I now own. It changed everything for me. I now have a multiple 8-figure company. I'm growing another company to sell. I am working on becoming omnipresent. I'm not saying that, look at me. I'm saying this is a girl. I am a girl that sat in a Starbucks and had no idea how this thing was ever going to come together. It's wild, isn't it? But I knew that I had a burning desire. I believe everybody called to be an entrepreneur has the same one. You are not born to be a business owner to have some money. You are born to have an overflow. Because of your heart and the way that you love people, you will naturally, when you have more, give more. And so that is your piece of the pie as a business owner. So let me show you how to succeed in that. And if you can't follow through on things, then before you even look at business programs, you got to look at your leadership. So if you need help in leadership, send me a direct inbox message. Say, Shanda, I need help in leadership, or comment the word leaders in the chat. Instagram, I can't. You have to send me a direct inbox message with the word I need help in leadership. And other than that, you guys, I'm sending you guys so much love. Have a productive day. Put your head down today. Do not, if you got children or you got a spouse that maybe even is driving you nuts right now, the answer is not criticizing somebody. The answer is to inspire somebody because you created a result today. You do that all this week, every day before you go to bed. You put your head down and you say to someone you love, your sister, your brother, your mother, your spouse, somebody you're dating, your children, you're like, what a great day. I created my result. You know what's going to happen? They're going to get off the couch. And they're going to start creating results too. Success goes viral, and it starts with you. All right, you guys. So much love. I hope this Shanda On Demand was valuable. Was it helpful? Put the word helpful. If this Shanda On Demand was helpful, put the word helpful below. All right, you guys. I'll talk to you soon. See you tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow.